Stop. There you go. Hi, hello. NRI. INR. Don't be leaving, do I? Yar, yar, yar. The day is Thursday, the 17th. De Octubre. That's totally not how you say that in Spanish. You don't say it with that hard to it. That's like almost like dramatic. Oh crap! Did I really do that? I seriously did.
It also made me realize
TLDR.
the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Well, that's what we wanted.
I was working. I'm putting stuff in my backpack. And I left my backpack on the roof of the car. I hope the glob that everything's still intact in it. Everything appears okay. Laptop is still on. Everything good.
What do we do to make sure that our democracy intact? Did we stand on the sidelines to say nothing?
Cummings' life was never spent on the sidelines. Susan Davis, NPR News, the Capitol. colorful since 1930, carrying more than 3,500 colors of Benjamin Moore paints. The in-store color designers can help choose the right color for your projects. Details at any of the 3 Dages, Hikes Point paint and wallpaper locations.
When's the last time you asked a teenager what's important to them?
You just can go out in the backyard and tend to your plants, pull weeds. It's a great time to think.
When you watch a piece of art, it forces you to look deeper.
People should just see us as people who contribute to society, not as something to be cured. This year, we're bringing you the voices and stories
employer matching gift programs. If you've donated recently, you might be able to see your gift doubled. Search for your employer by name at louisvillepublicmedia.org/match to find out.
63 degrees downtown Louisville. Clouds clear tonight though. Patchy frost. Low in the upper 30s, mostly sunny tomorrow. Highs in the middle 60s. Saturday partly sunny. A high in the middle 70s. It's 5 points. Support for NPR comes from this station and from Moon, working to help businesses manage their printing needs with an online ordering and reordering platform for every employee, plus design support. Find out more at moon.com. From Home Advisor, committed to helping homeowners find the right pros for their home projects. Homeowners can read reviews, book appointments, and check cost guides for home projects at homeadvisor.com or on the mobile app. And from the listeners who support this NPR station. From NPR News, it's All Things Considered. I'm Audie Cornish. And I'm Elsa Chang. Nearly 50,000 General Motors employees are not going back to work just yet. A month into a labor strike, local UAW leaders voted to approve a tentative contract with GM, but the general membership still has to approve it, and until then, the strike continues. They've been hashing it out behind closed doors in Detroit all day. Michigan Radio's Tracy Samilton has been following these negotiations, and she joins me now. Hey, Tracy.
Hi, Elsa.
So give us a little more of an idea of what happened at the meeting today.
Well, what we know is that they did approve this tentative contract, but it took them a lot longer than most of us were expecting. We don't know what exactly was holding it up, but it seemed to be a real fight, perhaps over whether the strike should end or whether they should keep folks out on the picket line while the voting is happening.
Okay, and so far, union leaders are calling this proposed contract a win. Is that fair to call this a win? I mean, what exactly are they getting out of this?
It totally depends on your point of view. There are definitely some things that I was surprised to see. GM did agree that for its temporary workers, it's going to give them a path to full-time jobs if they are kept for 3 years or longer. They're also going to get some paid time off, which they did not have before. So they're going to have a week paid time off after they work for a year, and then they have
forgotten heirloom bulls can bring back valuable genes that went missing, like genes for extra body fat, better health. For this to work, though, farmers actually have to use those bulls, and they'll only do it if they're persuaded that their daughters also will make lots of milk. So Chad Dickel's carefully monitoring his experimental cows. So far, he says it's going pretty well. 2 of the 3 are producing as much milk as the industry average. Dan Charles, NPR News.
This is NPR News. Reporters in Oregon recently uncovered a story of sexual abuse. It was shocking, it was stunning, and it was honestly very bleak. It involves the longtime leader of one of the world's most prominent charities and his daughter. Now the daughter says she's seeking help and closure. There was a moment of humanity there that I will not forget. Tomorrow on Morning Edition from NPR News. Morning Edition tomorrow morning from 5 to 9 on 89.3 WFPL. Coming up on 5:30, All Things Considered continues on this Thursday. I'm Jonas Franklin, glad to be with you. News headlines from NPR on the way. 63 degrees downtown Louisville. A few clouds, but clear skies tonight. See some patchy frost though. A low in the upper 30s, mostly sunny tomorrow. A high in the middle 60s. And on Saturday, partly sunny with a high in the mid 70s. It's All Things Considered on 89.3 WFPL. It's All Things Considered from NPR News. I'm Elsa Chang. And I'm Lottie Cornish. Coming up, the vaping company Juul has settled a lawsuit.
This new agreement requires that Juul not market to teens or children in fairly specific ways.
The federal government says there have now been 33 deaths linked to vaping. We'll have more after these news headlines. Live from NPR News in Culver City, California, I'm Dua Hoisa Countao. Elijah Cummings, the Maryland congressman, civil rights activist, and chair of the House Committee on Oversight and Reform, died earlier today. The 68-year-old lawmaker passed away from long-standing health complications. From member station WYPR, Emily Sullivan reports his hometown of Baltimore is grieving. Cummings was the son of sharecroppers. His parents moved to the city for a better life. He became a longtime advocate for civil rights and Baltimore. City Council President Brandon Scott fondly remembers Cummings' visits to his high school. Scott says Cummings' leadership inspired his generation.
Before there was Barack Obama for us here in Baltimore, we had Congressman Elijah Cummings.
Over the summer, the congressman defended Baltimore when President Trump attacked the city on Twitter. Cummings called for them to work together for the common good. For NPR News, I'm Emily Sullivan in Baltimore. Civilian casualties remain at record highs in Afghanistan after a spike in violence from July through September, according to the latest United Nations count. Reporter Jennifer Glass is in Kabul. The UN reports its casualties caused by the Taliban were 3 times greater in the third quarter of 2019 than the same period last year. The 72% increase in civilian casualties caused by suicide and improvised bombings. The report also recorded the highest number of deaths from aerial and search operations since January, carried out by Afghan, U.S., and international forces. That's Jennifer Glass reporting from Kabul. The UN's human rights chief in Afghanistan says the impact of Afghanistan's conflict on civilians is appalling, saying every verified number is a person, someone's relative, mother, father, daughter, or son. At the close of Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed up 23 points to 27,025. You're listening to NPR. Once more, Hong Kong's chief executive Carrie Lam has been forced to end a legislative council meeting after being shouted down by opposition lawmakers. NPR's Emily Fang reports this is the second time Lam has been shouted down in the city's legislative chambers in as many days. Lam was supposed to hold a question and answer session following her annual policy address, but was interrupted by pan-democratic lawmakers shouting political slogans. The Legislative Council adjourned the meeting without Lam taking any questions. 10 lawmakers were expelled from the chamber for staging protests. The spectacle was a repeat of Wednesday, when Lam was forced to deliver an annual speech by video after opposition lawmakers shouted her out of the legislative chamber. Hong Kong has been racked by nearly 5 months of anti-government protests. In her speech Wednesday, Lam announced housing and welfare reforms, but opposition lawmakers said it would not be enough Wei Fang, NPR News, Beijing. The founder of Cuba's National Ballet, Alicia Alonso, has died. This Havana-born ballerina had a 75-year career, and in the 1940s and 1950s, she was an early member of a company that would later become the American Ballet Theater in New York. A Lincoln Center performance of George Balanchine's classic theme and variations will be dedicated to her tonight. Alicia Alonso was 98. I'm Dwelly Saikautal. You're listening to NPR News.
All Things Considered continues on 89.3 WFPL. Coming up, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg addresses Georgetown students on free speech as Facebook and other platforms are under pressure to define how they are policing free speech. That story in 15 minutes on WFPL.
Support from 89.3 WFPL comes from the University of Louisville Department of Theater Arts, presenting a season of black plays with Zoma the Rabbit, a family-friendly hip-hop creation by Salmayani 24, October 19th and 20th at the Thrust Theater. Tickets and details at louisville.edu/theaterarts. From Kentucky Derby Museum, providing a unique setting to host a business or family holiday party. Guests may enjoy indoor and outdoor settings, views of Churchill Downs Paddock, exhibits, and the 360 movie The Greatest Race. The spaces accommodate parties as small as 20 and up to 2,500.
Clear tonight. See some patchy frost or light freeze. A low in the upper 30s. Sunny tomorrow. Highs in the middle 60s.
Support for NPR comes from this station and from the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation, recognizing exceptionally creative individuals. This year's MacArthur Fellows and more information are at macfound.org. From the Doris Duke Charitable Foundation, whose Sickle Cell Disease Advancing Cures program supports cutting-edge research to cure sickle cell disease. Learn more at ddcf.org. And from the sustaining members of this NPR station.
From NPR News, this is All Things Considered. I'm Elsa Chang.
And I'm Audie Cornish. Vice President Pence today announced that Turkey has agreed to a ceasefire in northern Syria that will permit Kurdish forces to withdraw from the area. But the Turkish offensive has already taken a heavy toll on civilians in the region. More than 150,000 people have been driven from their homes in search of safety. That's according to the UN. Dozens of others have been killed and hundreds wounded. NPR's Jane Araf is across the border from Syria in the Kurdistan region of Iraq, where refugees are fleeing. She spoke with us from the city of Dohuk about the scale of the humanitarian crisis.
This has come up so quickly, and it was already a remote part of the region, that it's difficult to tell with any certainty things like numbers, but it's clear that it is dire. So Kurdish aid
housing them, but there are a lot of others who are still trying to get in.
Finally, Jane, what impact is this new deal likely to have on people who'd been living in the region?
Well, you know, when that announcement was made, there was celebratory gunfire in some of those cities, but not everybody's celebrating, because basically what it means is an agreement for a 30-mile deep buffer zone. People have fled the towns and the villages in that buffer zone already, and they're having trouble finding places to stay. They're having trouble finding food and water. They're not expected to be able to go back. So this is great that the ceasefire means, if the ceasefire holds, it means that there won't be active shelling, but it does mean that that crisis of lack of medical facilities, lack of food,
I forgot to check my Starbucks balance.
lack of international NGOs, and
see if I have
200,000 displaced people, that crisis persists.
Starbucks money.
That's NPR's Jane Araf in
Hoping
Iraq.
this
Thank
doesn't
you for
kill
your
the
reporting.
stream.
Thank you.
We'll find out.
There are now nearly 1,500 cases of serious lung disease and 33 deaths linked to vaping. Those are the new numbers out today from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. As awareness of the dangers of vaping grow, the vape maker Juul has been feeling the pressure. Today, it announced it's going to suspend sales of many of its flavored products. NPR's Allison Aubrey reports.
Back in 2015, the Center for Environmental Health sued e-cigarette makers over the levels of formaldehyde found in the company's products. As the suit proceeded, vaping rates among teenagers began to climb. So the small
Man, in theory, y'all should
nonprofit
be back with
expanded
me.
its efforts to focus on Juul's marketing practices.
Guess
Now
I
they've
could probably
announced
pull
a
my
legally binding
work phone
agreement.
out,
Here's the
double
CEO
check.
of the environmental group, Michael Green.
This new agreement requires that Juul not market to teens or children in very specific ways.
Juul cannot advertise at sporting events or concerts that allow people under the age of 21, no appearances at schools, and the company can't use models in their ads that are under the age of 28. In a statement, Juul told NPR that the company is committed to combating underage use and that this new settlement affirms voluntary practices it already has in place. But the Center for Environmental Health's Michael Green says the settlement can help hold Juul accountable.
We don't trust them. We think that their entire business model is based on addicting a new generation of young people. So the fact that it's court enforceable means that we are going to watch them very closely. And if they violate it by 1 inch, we can go right back to court and we can force them to stop.
The settlement is technically only enforceable in California and only for a finite period. So in the eyes of public health officials, it's a step in the right direction. The American Lung Association's Paul Billings says it will take more to rein in Juul, which is now partially owned by a big tobacco company.
The tobacco industry has a long history of making loud public pronouncements and then failing to follow through.
So Billings says much more action is needed at the state and federal level.
The federal government needs to eliminate all flavored e-cigarette products from the market.
Back in September, the Trump administration announced plans to ban flavored e-cigarettes. So far, this hasn't happened. Billings says Food and Drug Administration, the agency that has the regulatory authority, needs to act.
I'd like a venti caramel frappuccino, and that will be all, please.
A venti caramel frappuccino, anything else?
That's it.
That'll be $5.67.
This night is bright. Oh God, I'm sure the phone is reflecting into them and probably blinding them. Evilly so. Let's open up Twitch. It is working. Hey, hello. Somehow now magically I'm back on LTE. I don't know. Entire connect. I would like to see my employer get their cell signals like build up into Jefferson County, so I can actually get the service for free. That's really what I want. Chit-chat about cosmetic surgery. Oh, glob, it's so bright out there. 10-sack of cheesy sliders for $6.99. That's actually not that bad. This will go right. Alright. I guess I need to get orange juice. Where's taxi percent? Stop's warehouse is hiring over here. That hill like on a sled in Wintour or a skateboard. Frappuccino, by the way. It's literally the worst I've ever had from Starbucks. Of course, that Starbucks in Mount Washington, Kentucky, from everybody I know who's notoriously saying it's the worst. So I'm gonna go to Kroger and get some horseshoes. So I need for the thing I'm cooking tonight. Intersection where I got hit by one of my former supervisors' mothers. She was coming southbound. The light had turned red for them. I was coming across traffic, coming from the Walmart, going across Preston Highway, heading towards Kroger, which was this left turn for me right now. But where that car just turned over that far left lane over there, basically she just like went right through the red light. And fortunately, I saw it out of the corner of my eye. I was able to slam my brakes before I got T-boned, and also before I T-boned her. One way or the other, work could have been a lot more worse than it was. But did you die? No, I did not die. I think that was a bro with a power stash, also in a MAGA hat. Y'all, let's go Krogering. Well, I'm going Krogering. Y'all aren't. Goodbye.